Today, we're digging into a pretty mind-blowing idea from one of history's greatest thinkers about how to get a handle on your emotions.
So, let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like your emotions are in the driver's seat? You get swept away by a wave of anger or anxiety or jealousy, and you just wish you had a little more control? Yeah, that's a pretty universal feeling, right?
Well, believe it or not, a philosopher from way back in the 17th century, a guy named René Descartes, thought about this a lot. And he came up with a pretty radical plan to put your reason, your thinking, rational mind, firmly back in charge. So let's get into it.
Okay, to really get Descartes' plan, we first have to wrap our heads around his most famous idea, the whole separation of mind and body. For him, they were like a tale of two completely different things.
And I mean, for Descartes, this split was absolute. On one hand, you've got the mind, or the soul. That's the part of you that thinks, that has a will, that reasons. It's active, it's voluntary. On the other hand, there's the body. And to him, it was just a machine, a purely physical, passive thing that works involuntarily, kind of like a super intricate clock. And the key thing is, he believed they could each function totally independently.
So why does that matter? Well, here's the huge takeaway. If your mind is separate from all your body's mechanical reactions, then it doesn't have to be a prisoner to them. It's not just getting dragged along for the ride. Instead, your thinking, reasoning mind can actually be the warden, the one in charge of what the body feels and does.
All right, so if the mind is the warden, what exactly are the prisoners it's trying to control? Descartes had a special name for our feelings. He called them the passions, and he kind of saw them as an uprising that starts in the body.
And this definition is super specific. The passions, for him, aren't actually created by your soul or your mind. Nope. They are feelings that happen in the soul, but they are caused by the body. He imagined these things he called animal spirits. You can think of them as tiny physical signals or currents zipping through the body and creating these feelings.
And listen, we're not just talking about the bad stuff here. The passions include literally everything, from wonder and gratitude all the way to fear and jealousy. Basically, if it's a feeling that bubbles up from the body and gets noticed by the mind, Descartes called it a passion. Okay, but wait. How can a physical machine, the body, actually talk to the non-physical thinking thing, the mind? Well, Descartes had a theory. He zeroed in on a tiny gland right in the center of the brain, the pineal gland. He figured this was the bridge. As the body's animal spirits flowed past this gland, they somehow made it wiggle or move, which in turn created a feeling, a passion in the mind.
But here's the really cool part. This isn't just a one-way street. The body might start the fight by throwing a passion at you, but your mind, your reason, can absolutely strike back and take the wheel.
Here's the play-by-play. Let's say a passion pops up. Anger, for example. Your body is flooding you with that hot, fiery feeling. But instead of just reacting, your mind can jump in. Your reason looks at the situation and thinks, what are the consequences if I lash out right now? And based on that quick analysis, your will can hit the brakes on that initial desire, letting you choose a calm, rational action instead.
And that's the whole point. Descartes believed that using your reason like this, what he called right reason, is the secret. As he put it himself, it makes life more bearable. It gives you back the power over your own experience. And who doesn't want that?
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? Well, while he was rethinking his entire philosophy, Descartes came up with what he called a provisional morality, a practical four-step code to live by. Think of it as your personal toolkit for a better life.
Maxim number 1 is all about playing it cool. Basically, stick to the rules of where you live and avoid extreme opinions. Why? His logic was pretty smart. He figured, look, while I'm trying to figure out the absolute truth, I'm not going to go off the deep end. Staying in the middle means if you happen to be wrong, at least you haven't strayed too far off course.
The second rule, once you make a choice, commit. Be firm, be determined, don't second-guess yourself. He used this great analogy of being lost in a forest. It's much better to just pick a direction and walk straight and confidently than it is to wander in circles or just stand still. He argued this frees you from all that emotional baggage of regret and remorse.
Now, this third maxim is probably his most famous, and it is a game changer. It all boils down to focusing your energy on the only thing you can truly control, yourself. You can't control the world, you can't control what other people do, but as he said, nothing except our thoughts is wholly under our control. Master your own desires, and the outside world won't be able to frustrate you.
And finally, number 4. Every now and then, you have to step back and reflect. Take a good look at all the different paths your life could take and consciously choose the one that's going to bring you the most genuine contentment, the most peace of mind. For Descartes, that path was being a philosopher, but the principle is for everyone.
So, we do all this work, mastering passions, following these rules. What's the end game? Where's all of this supposed to lead?
The ultimate goal for Descartes is a life of deep, stable contentment, an idea he borrowed heavily from the ancient Stoic philosophers. And this isn't about becoming a robot and killing off your emotions, not at all. It's about using your reason to cultivate a state of inner tranquility.
And what does that contentment actually feel like? Well, the Stoics had a perfect definition for it: an absence of pain in the body and trouble in the mind. It's that powerful kind of peace that comes from knowing you've used your reason to handle what you can control and to accept what you can't.
So, there you have it, Descartes' Guide to Mastering Your Emotions. It's a 400-year-old playbook that feels like it could have been written yesterday, doesn't it? So I'll leave you with this to think about. If your reason really is a superpower, what's the first passion you would choose to conquer?